Hey everybody, how you doing? Today I woke up with this strong urge to make a video, which is fine, but the problem is I haven't bought any new vinyl in quite a while since my last video, so I didn't have any new vinyl to show, and I really wasn't answering any threads today, but I still wanted to make a video, so I just thought I'd show you some stuff that I've been spinning lately that has been on the turntable and hasn't gone off in a while. So let's get this started. Oh, in the background, for those who are interested, I am listening to a CD, Eric Johnson, Bloom, if you can see that. Pretty cool little CD, came out a few years ago. I actually saw him on this tour. Yeah, he was put on a really good show. I love Eric Johnson. And I think this CD actually came in a guitar pick. Yeah. So here we go. Here's the Eric Johnson guitar pick. It came with the CD. I saved it. I figured, cool little collectible, I'll save it. So Bloom is the name of this CD, and haven't listened to this in a while. Just to show you that I listen to other things besides vinyl, but great CD. Anyway, okay, stuff I've been spinning lately is Genesis Live from the Mouth of the Monster. This is a bootleg album, 2-record set from October 1978, recorded in Chicago. So the tour they had at the time was and then there were 3 tour. There's a little picture of the band there. This is a good bootleg. The source of it was from an FM broadcast back in '78, and it was always one of the more, for people who collect, for fanatic fans who like to collect Genesis bootlegs, this is a very popular bootleg amongst many, but this is one of the popular ones. And I've owned this, well, I never owned it because this is the first time I ever bought it. It was on vinyl. I've downloaded like CDs of it. I have a surround sound DVD of it that plays it with a picture show of pictures from that concert. But last year I bought it on vinyl, and this got me listening to Genesis bootlegs again. And when I spun this, it stood on the turntable for a couple of days last week, and just really dug it, especially the Dance with the Moonlit Night, sung by Phil on here. I think it was the only tour that he actually attempted to sing that song with Genesis, and it was such a Peter Gabriel, it's a Peter Gabriel era song, and I think it's the only time he tried it was that tour. And so it's a good collectible for that track. So, and this got me to watch other Genesis bootlegs on DVD. For instance, the bootleg for the Duke tour. It got me to watch that again. A DVD bootleg I haven't watched in ages. So real cool. Next one I've been spinning. I'm a Rush fan, so naturally I go from one Rush album. So why not 2112? Again, this came from me watching a documentary, The Making of 2112 on the classic album series. They also do that one in moving pictures. I had that on Blu-ray, and I started watching it one night, and it really made me hungry to listen to the album. So I listened to this record, and I mean, it's a common record. I think a lot of people in the VC have it. It's pretty common here, so it's nothing fancy, but I love showing mine off. Really nice, really nice. Anyway, the documentary is really good, and it made me really hungry to listen to the album. I actually haven't listened to this record in a long time, so it was kind of nice to revisit it. But mostly side 2, because side 1 to me is so overplayed because it's a Rush classic. But I love going to side 2, especially for the song Something for Nothing. It's one of my favorite songs on this album, and I love listening to that song. And in the extras portion of the documentary I was talking about, they show Alex Lifeson actually playing the introduction to that song on 12-string acoustic guitar. And God, it put me in such a mood to listen to this. So 2112, love that album. Was in a Zeppelin mood a couple of nights ago. Started listening to some of my Zeppelin albums. Physical Graffiti was one of them. Because I just love the song Kashmir. I'm a big fan of Kashmir. Trample Underfoot was another good song I love to listen to on this record. Just spun the whole first record, and for some reason I never want to go to the second record that's in here, even though the music's just as good on that one. because I'm in love with the first record of the set, but it's still a great album from Zeppelin. As well as this one, my copy of Zeppelin 3. I was spinning this one a while ago because I love the acoustic songs on here. There's some good acoustic songs on this album that really get me going. It's hard to get it out of the vinyl sleeve. That's the Way probably has to be my favorite acoustic song from Zeppelin, and my copy is actually pretty cool. It comes with the wheel, and the wheel works. So yeah, if I can get it going, it's kind of hard to get it going. Once it's going, it's going. So my wheel works on this album, but well, it's the music that matters, not a wheel. And of course, I always loved the picture in the back. I thought that was cool. Gatefold's nothing spectacular. Here's the gatefold. But the acoustic songs on here I think are really good. I like Tangerine. That's not really an acoustic song, but it's a great song. Gallows Pole I really dig. I mean, well, everybody knows what's on this record. It's a classic album. And so I started spinning this one just to hear That's the Way. I love that song to death. I think it's one of the best acoustic songs that Zeppelin ever did. Always loved that song, always will. And so it's great to spin it again. As well as the Eagles, The Long Run. The history of the Eagles documentary is what inspired me to pick this album up again. It's been in my collection for a couple of years, and watching that documentary really made me appreciate how cool of a band they were. I mean, I always liked the Eagles. I always thought they were a good band, but they're a band I just don't listen. Even though I like their music, I don't listen to them all that much. Probably because classic rock radio plays them what seems like every 5 minutes. But when I particularly like this album, even though they don't really rate it very high in the documentary, I always loved this record for the songs I Can't Tell You Why and In the City. I always loved those songs. And I'm like really glad that they put those songs right next to each other on this album, because those are my favorite songs. The Long Run is actually not a bad song. Heartache Tonight, Those Shoes, really cool song. But the documentary, The History of the Eagles, is a really interesting documentary. I love watching documentary on bands, how they met, when they first got started, and when they got discovered, their first couple of tours, first couple of albums, you know. It's a great story, it's a great documentary, and it inspired me to start spinning this album, Hotel California, but mostly this album. So really cool. And for some reason, when I listen to the Eagles a lot, it puts me in the mood for Fleetwood Mac. I don't know why. So I started spinning my copy of Rumors again, and this is on the Nautilus Super Disc. So it sounds really cool on the turntable. I actually love spinning this album. I mean, everybody, and of course, it's a common record. It's real common. It's common as dirt amongst vinyl collectors. Everybody has a copy of Rumors in their collection. But I love this little photo montage they put on here for the insert. I don't think my other album had it. I don't really remember, to tell you the truth. But I really like this little sheet of photos that came with the record. And of course, there's all the lyrics and a picture of the band. For some reason, when I listen to the Eagles, it just seems automatic. I have to listen to Fleetwood Mac. I don't know what it is. I almost associate them as the same band, and for some reason, really weird how that happens. But it was an enjoyable listening night. A lot of all this. The Eagles in this were me listening to music all in one night. I was in a classic rock mood, and when I go to Eagles, like I said, I actually have to go to Fleetwood Mac. It was a fun night of listening. And the artist we're listening to the background is Eric Johnson. And last night I just felt the urge to spin via Musicom on vinyl. But just the second side. The first side, of course, Cliffs of Dover, Stizzler Rose, Highlandrins. I mean, those songs are pretty much played alike, especially Cliffs of Dover. Everybody knows Eric Johnson for the song Cliffs of Dover, but side two, I think, really is is really better than side one on this record. And it's a great album too. Trademark, Nothing Can Keep Me From You, Song for George, Righteous, 40 Mile Town especially. I love that song. It's such a beautiful ballad. And East West, which is a little tribute to Wes Montgomery on here. I love this album. If you guys ever see this while you're digging, pick it up. It is a spectacular album. Great body of music on this on this album. And Eric Johnson's always been one of my favorite musicians. I don't play guitar or anything, but he's one of my musical heroes, without a doubt. I've seen him a bunch of times live, met him twice. He's one of the nicest people you'll ever want to meet. Really gentle guy, really down to earth, very friendly, and loves talking to fans. And he doesn't blow anybody off or pay you lip service. He's very genuine when I met him twice, and one of my favorite musicians, and just and a big inspiration to me. So I love this album to death. Okay, getting close to the end here. Another one was Brian Eno and David Byrne, My Life in the Bush and Ghosts. I was in a weird mood and decided, let's hear something, I wouldn't say weird, but just something out of the ordinary. And this was a pretty cool album. I've had this for about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And it's just, you know, really cool instrumental funk, I guess, or dance music, and layered over some strange voice recordings. I think on one song there's a recording of an exorcism, which was called, I think it was the Jezebel Spirit was the name of the song. Very interesting concept, but a very interesting listen. And when I get in those moods, music like this really sounds cool. And I mean, this is an enjoyable album to listen to. I do like it, even though they're not per se songs, they're just rhythms and sounds. It's an interesting listen. I always did like this. And I'm going to end with some R&B. Earth, Wind & Fire. I'm such an Earth, Wind & Fire fan. And the album Raise graced the turntable last night. And I only listened to side 2 really because side 1 has what's the name of that song? Let's Groove, which is like you listen to R&B radio and they play it every day. So it's been played out. Even though it's a good song, it's been played out. And I do like this picture in the gatefold. That's such a cool picture. Like it started for ages. It's real nice. But I love side 2 on this one. You Are a Winner, I Had Enough, Changing Times, and there's some great songs. And it starts off with an instrumental called Kalimba Tree, which just sounds great on the turntable. You can hear it's like you can hear the band jamming really low in the background, and you can hear these really cool synthesizer parts played on a Moog, kind of creeping in. It's a interesting way how they mixed it, and it goes into a jam song, which is called You Are a Winner. Always loved me some Earth, Wind & Fire. They're one of my favorite bands. They're just so fun to listen to, and I wish R&B stayed like that because they played a mixture of, of course, funk, soul, gospel, blues, Brazilian type music, some jazz. They were all over the place, and they were really good artists. And I think R&B's missing some of that. I'm not saying all R&B music sucks or anything. It's just, some of it can have a little bit more of a musician's influence, I guess. Anyway, that's going to be it right there. It's just what I've been spinning lately. Always just in the mood to film a video, so thanks for hanging out with me. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.